I titled today's conversation Mind Map. People automatically appear to be in harmony with you. People automatically appear to be in harmony with you. To contribute to our conversation today on personal magnetism, I would like to explore with you a chapter from the book Lessons in Truth by H. Emily Cady, specifically Lesson 12, Unity of the Spirit, because in here she articulates precisely what is going on. And we've also discussed the previous chapters of this book, and I created a playlist for you. I'll link in the description to it. We discussed the chapters based on personal experience. She says, "We did not know it as a living reality that behind all the multitude and variety of human endeavors to bring about the millennium, there stands forever the master mind. The master mind, which sees the end from the beginning. The master artist, who himself is through human vessels as his hands, putting on the picture here a touch of one color and there a touch of another, according to the vessel used." So, the key to personal magnetism is to be as you are. Simply be. Just be. By being as you are, or we could say, be as I am. And why do I say, be as I am? Well, what is God's name? Exodus 3:14. "And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. Thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you." The children of Israel refer to the human vessels, the individual vessels of God. And so within the human mind, there may be beliefs of separation, particularly the subconscious mind, beliefs of separation, which are illusions, which generate, we can say, the appearances of lack of personal magnetism, which is an illusion. So who you truly are is magnetic. We can describe it as personal magnetism, because when we look at a person that, let's say, that symbolizes personal magnetism, we can clearly say that people appear automatically to be in harmony with them. Well, guess what? You and them, you and I, are no different. I am cannot be divided. So the master mind, which is the mind of God, knows no separation. We can point to the reality of God with human words. So the pointers that I've been using are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Why particularly do I use these pointers? Well, partially, these pointers have been articulated in the various scriptures of the world. Now, if you see what they point to is no separation. No separation. Or another way of saying it is, I am cannot be divided. So let's say the individual acknowledges their true nature of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. In other words, acknowledges there's no separation. Would they think in terms of jealousy? Would they think in terms of separation between themselves and another person? Absolutely not. They wouldn't think that way. And because they wouldn't think that way, in other words, they are being as they are, being as I am, relationships would appear automatically to be in harmony with them. That is what I mean by you are authentically magnetic. And now, I like how she said, sees the end from the beginning. If we look at Genesis 1:3, specifically the Aramaic Bible in plain English translation, it states, "And God said, the light shall be, and the light was." The light shall be, and the light was. Light represents pure consciousness, devoid of separation. If pure consciousness is devoid of separation, then we can say unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And as the individual acknowledges their existence itself is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, they do not seek externally when relating with people for love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, because they know that they are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Or we could say they know that I am love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. How does one know that they are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment? Well, the simplest and most direct way that I found is by being still. By being still and acknowledging the silence or stillness or existence itself as love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Mind is purified from the illusions of separation. The conditions that the person has placed in their mind, which we can call our limitations. Why do I say that? Well, let's say a person conditions love. So they say they are interested in a person, romantically or a client in business. They want to do a deal with this particular client, or they want to be in a relationship with this particular person. So they call them on the phone, and the client doesn't respond. If they remain neutral to that appearance, as in they are not affected by that appearance, then they are being magnetic. Why do I say that? Well, I have seen many times that if a person tries to then seek for love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, because they thought that this appearance is suggesting otherwise, then what happens is they generate unnecessary conflict with the person. They may argue with them. They may try to convince this person. They may try to manipulate this person. They may try to control this person, which is completely illusory. So they generate illusions of separation-based experiences, which are illusions, not the reality of God, which is unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. What I've seen many times, and also working with my clients, they have seen many times, is if they unconditionally accept themselves and accept the other person as love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, and by that I mean specifically not conditioning that appearance as the relationship is not harmonious, which is an illusion. That person calls them back when the person calls them back. Or they might run into that person somewhere and they engage in that conversation. Or they may end up picking up their phone and making a phone call to another prospect, and that prospect ends up becoming a client. And they end up hitting their monthly income goals. I have seen this happen all throughout my life. Since I was a teenager, in my 20s, in my 30s, I have seen it. If I was trying to control the other person, trying to manipulate them, trying to convince them, I would generate illusions of separation. It would play out as the outer appearances, illusions of separation. when I started to realize more and more so that I am unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. It appeared as them answering the phone, or them calling me back saying, "Oh, I missed your call," or text messaging me saying, "Can you call me at this particular time or that particular time?" When I was trying to control them, when I was trying to be manipulative, when I would find these tactics of, oh, let's say I'm going to pretend like I'm not interested in this person, or I'm going to send them this text message that implies that I'm not interested, it would just play out in this unnecessary convoluted theater, which at times may provide temporary relief and then a whole bunch of suffering afterwards. So Genesis 1:3, the light shall be, and the light was. All people represent pure consciousness. The way we experience people as personal magnetism in a magnetic way is by being as you are, accepting yourself. So the way you can apply this is, let's say you are about to make a phone call to someone. Do not condition the response you get. Do not suggest that any response or lack of response means lack of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Acknowledge that you are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, regardless of the appearance, prior to the conversation, during the conversation, and after the conversation. And I can assure you, as you do this, what you're doing is you are being still, or we could say remain in your flow, as we discussed in Tuesday's video, which I'll link to in the description. I am being still while I appear to flow, because I am, you are, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, regardless of appearances. And by love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, I'm not speaking about how a person relates to their emotions, and by that I mean specifically, if they experience energy in motion in a particular way, which they would label as not love, not happiness, not peace, not bliss, not fulfillment, that would suggest that they are not love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. That is an illusion. That is not what I'm referring to. As in, if I don't experience happiness emotions all the time, then I am not happiness. That is not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to your true nature, which is beyond labels. These words are pointers of your true nature, which is devoid of separation. I'm saying your true nature is happiness. The individual may appear to seek for happiness externally. You are happiness. So thus you are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, regardless of what you think of your emotions. Emotions are energy in motion. It's the individual that's labeling the emotions to experience them in a particular way. As also what we discussed in Tuesday's video, I recommend watching it, where I gave a personal example of how energy in motion was experienced as anxiety prior to public speaking for me. And then it got transmuted, the energy in motion got transmuted to excitement, which means I felt excited to teach the workshops, whereas prior, it felt like anxiety before the workshops. The energy in motion was still flowing. I was just relating to it differently. So in the beginning, there was light. So all we're appearing to do, we could say, is let the light be. Let the light be as the light was. Creation is complete. The good, perfect will of God is complete, as stated in Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. I like how she says it here. The happy person who will, from their heart, exclaim, "Praise the Lord," no matter what occurs to them, and who thereby finds that to them that love God, all things work together for good, is in reality saying the all is good of the metaphysician. Each one does simply In all thy ways acknowledge God. She put God, comma, good. If you take away one O from the word good, you see God. She says, which is indeed a magical wand, bringing sure deliverance out of any trouble to all who faithfully use it. So can you witness and experience God in all things, in all experiences? Even if in the person's mind a person thinks otherwise, which is unwise, otherwise unwise, the reality of God is good, perfect, and pleasing. We experience the reality of God manifest as harmonious relationships because that is the mastermind. So one way of looking at it is imagine everyone as the perfect whole. I am one perfect whole. If you can conceptualize it in your mind, a perfect ball, let's say, a perfect whole. Now imagine this for a moment. That ball shatters and refracts out, and it shatters into what we can call individual pieces. These individual pieces, which represent the human vessels or individuals, are actually refracted out from the same source, from the sure foundation of God. These individual fragments are not separate from each other, nor are they separate from the source, which is God. And all these individual fragments have been refracted out, appearing in this world as individual people, and the reality of God is good, perfect, and pleasing. So each individual actually plays a harmonious role with each other to manifest heaven on earth. Yet each individual can choose what to think. They can think in terms of separation, or they can think in terms of truth, that there is no separation. So as they release identification to the untrue beliefs, unreal beliefs of separation in mind, what happens, we could say, is they return to the center. They experience living in and from the divine center, as we discussed in Tuesday's video with respect to James Allen's book, The Heavenly Life. And as they appear to return to the divine center, because this is only happening in mind, this appearance of returning to the divine center, you actually already are in the divine center now. I put this on my Instagram today with respect to when we talk about being still. I said, you can be still while meditating. You can also be still while you are flowing. I am always still. You are always still. You are still in heaven, mediating God to earth. To suggest otherwise would imply separation from God, the source of flow. So the appearances appear to flow in harmony together as the individual has released identification to the illusions of separation in mind. And again, in Tuesday's video, I give 7 ways. You can apply one of them, all of them in combination, whatever you'd like. They all point to the fact that there is no separation. I am cannot be divided. It only appears as separation for the theater of God, which actually happens as what we can call individual personal magnetism, which is essentially an individual being as I am, or being as they are, or remaining as they are, simply being, just being, from which people automatically appear to be in harmony with them. So again, with the visual, if these fragments return back to the source, then we understand what I have been referring to as there's only God. Only God is real. Only God appears. Only God appears to animate all that appears delightfully, as stated in Genesis 1:3. Delight shall be, and delight was. And why do I say delight? Psalm 37:4. The New International Version says, "Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." So, by not conforming to the illusory patterns in mind, what happens is the individual releases the illusions of separation. And God gives the desires of the heart, and it plays out as harmonious relationships to manifesting the desires of your heart. That's how I built 3 successful businesses. People appeared ideally automatically. I simply released the control. I simply released the control and allowed it to happen. Let delight be as delight was. So if we conceptualize it, we can say the fragments return to the source and operate from the source. Operate from the source. So I returned to the source and operate from the source, and people automatically appear to be in harmony. So why do I say delight? Because pure consciousness is pure delight. And one of the ways we can describe delight is people automatically appearing to be in harmony with you. That sounds so delightful. We can say, oh, that's love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And again, those are words that point to the fact that there is no separation, that all is love. God is love. The true nature of God is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, pure delight. This is also what I refer to as seeing and experiencing life through the single eye of God. And she articulates it here, as we've been discussing. She said, I heard an uneducated woman speak in a most orthodox prayer meeting some time ago. She knew no more of religious science than a babe knows of Latin. Her face, however, was radiant with the light of Christ manifest through her. She told how, for 5 years before, she had been earnestly seeking to know more of God, seeking in prayer, as she knew nothing about seeking spiritual light from people. And one day, in all earnestness, she asked that some special word of His will might be given directly to her as sort of a private message. These words flashed into her mind. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. No man can serve 2 masters. She had read these words many times. This is referring to Matthew 6:22 to 24. But that day they were illumined by Spirit, and she saw that to have an eye single meant seeing but one power in her life. While she saw 2 powers, God and devil, good and evil, she was serving 2 masters. From that day to this, though she had passed through all sorts of troublous circumstances, trials of poverty, illness in family, intemperate husband, she found always the most marvelous, full, and complete deliverance out of them by resolutely adhering to the single eye, seeing God only. She would not look, even for a moment, at the seeming evil to combat it or rid herself of it, because, as she said, looking at God with one eye and this evil with the other is being double-eyed, and God told me to keep my eye single. This woman, who had never heard of any science or metaphysical teaching or laws of mind, was combating and actually overcoming tribulations of this world by positively refusing to have anything but a single eye. She had been taught in a day by Infinite Spirit the whole secret of how to banish evil and have only good and joy in her life. Isn't it very simple? So with respect to the appearance now, we could say, of personal magnetism, here's how we apply this. Here's how you remain as you are, unfragmented, in a perfect whole, so that people automatically appear to be in harmony with you, which we can point to and call it personal magnetism. If at any moment, prior to interacting with people, during interacting with people, after interacting with people, you think in terms of separation in relation to that person, shaming, condemning, jealousy, envy, thinking you're not good enough, thinking they're better than you, thinking they're worse than you, anything other than I am unconditional love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, stop it. Put off those former conversations which belong to the old man and see and experience reality through the single eye of God. Acknowledge in the moment, I am love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. I am perfect now. I am whole now. You may suggest that to yourself, or you may be still and capture the feeling of being perfect now. And you'll find you'll automatically imagine them lovingly. You'll automatically imagine them blissfully. You'll automatically imagine them peacefully. You'll automatically imagine them as fulfilled. And it will play out as harmonious conversation, harmonious body language, and if strong emotions arise, allow them to be released. And after they're released, you'll acknowledge automatically that you are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And this purifies the subconscious mind of the untrue, illusory, unreal beliefs of separation, which are illusory. And if you find it to be helpful, I recommend watching my video I did on the 7-day mental and emotional diet, considering both thought and emotion. I'll link in the description to it. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto suggestion to further encourage. You can say, I flow as I am, as I witness and experience life through the single eye of God. As I am, being as I am, I appear to be magnetic, from which people automatically appear to be in harmony with me, as I am in harmony with them, as there's only God, pure delight, appearing to animate all that appears, to reveal my harmonious relationships from heaven on earth. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.